get started. I'm going to start off by talking about Lord of the Flies a little bit. The first thing I want to address are just like all of the confusions, because I know there was a lot of confusion regarding the chapter analysis presentations and all that. So first, you are not doing this in a group anymore. Okay, you are doing chapter analysis individually on Flipgrid. I think someone is talking. I think Lizzie, is that you? Lizzie, I think I can hear you. Can you mute your video or
Liz,
mute
we
your
can
audio?
hear you.
Yeah, I think, hold on. I think I can mute you guys. Hey, okay, cool. That's fun. So here's what I'm gonna ask that we do. There's now an updated reading schedule in Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, check that updated reading schedule, and then I want you to, on Mondays only, you're going to film a Flipgrid of yourself analyzing all of that stuff that we would have analyzed in the chapter presentations anyways, but you're going to do it on your own. You don't have to answer the review questions anymore, but you're going to analyze, like for today, you're going to analyze both chapters 5 and 6. Now, if you feel like you can't analyze both chapters in one 5-minute Flipgrid, then I'm going to ask that you're allowed to, you don't have to do this, but if you feel like you need 2 Flipgrids to analyze both chapters, you can film 2 Flipgrids. I'm fine with that. Excuse me. So make sure that y'all know that you don't have to collaborate on this anymore. You're doing it individually, filming a Flipgrid, analyzing biblical allusion, character, theme, blah, 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 character, all that fun stuff that I listed on the updated reading schedule. So just follow those directions and you should be good. Those of you who already presented, don't worry, that grade is still going to go in for you. Okay, so you are not going to be penalized for having gone first. So we're good with that. Then let's dive in. If you could please pull up a copy of Lord of the Flies and open up to the beginning of chapter 5. If you have a PDF online, you can open that up. We're going to take a look at the first paragraph in chapter 5. And in the first paragraph, we're going to just kind of take a look at it. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to screen share with you guys on here. I can screen share. So give me a second. Let me get to chapter 5. All right. Ellie. Share. Here we go. All right, so in chapter 5, we're going to take a look at just the first paragraph here. Okay, so the tide was coming in and there was only a narrow strip of firm beach between the water and the white, stumbling stuff near the palm terrace. Ralph chose the firm strip as a path because he needed to think, and only here could he allow his feet to move without having to watch them. Suddenly, pacing by the water, he was overcome with astonishment. He found himself understanding the wearisome of this life, where every path was an improvisation and a considerable part of one's waking life was spent watching one's feet. He stopped facing the strip and remembering that first enthusiastic exploration as though it were a part of a brighter childhood. He smiled jeeringly. He turned then and walked back toward the platform with the sun in his face. The time had come for the assembly, and as he walked into the concealing splendors of the sunlight, he went carefully over the points of his speech. There must be no mistake about this assembly, no chasing imaginary, and then it kind of drifts off. First things first that I want to ask is, how has Ralph changed since being on the island? And second thing I want to ask is, no chasing imaginary ... What is coming after that ... So if you have to say something, go ahead and unmute yourself and speak. So how has Ralph changed on the island?
He's no longer as like carefree, because when he first got on the island, he was like, woo, no grown-ups, woo. And now he's like, every path I take or every step I take, I must watch my.
He's definitely got to be more of a grown-up, for sure.
Yes.
I feel like he kind of he kind of became more of a leader as like things went on.
Okay, so he's starting to maybe think with forethought, like he's thinking ahead, thinking more like a leader should, in terms of like what's important. I have to think through things now. Like he has to kind of become like a piggy where he actually thinks about what affects everyone, what affects himself. He's like more calculating almost. You know, he can't just like improvise anymore, like, and play around. You know, that first enthusiastic exploration was part of a brighter childhood. They can't be a part of this. Yes, we can say hi to Ellie at the end. And yeah, he's matured a lot. He has become more of a grown-up. He's almost lost that innocence completely, where he's no longer that child. So then what is the imaginary, what, no chasing imaginary what? Down here at the bottom, no chasing imaginary.
Imaginary beasts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we have the beast. The beast is something that seems very real at this point. And it's the cause of a lot of their fear and paranoia, and some of their chaos will be a result of this beast, which, remember, is a biblical allusion to what?
Beelzebub, I think.
Beelzebub.
I don't know.
Yeah, Beelzebub. The beast is
The devil.
The devil, a demon. And so this devil, this demon, is something that they're very afraid of. They're just freaking out about the possibility that this is going to be a real thing. So the other thing that we see in this chapter, when we see the assembly, how do Ralph and Jack differ in the way that they talk to the little uns?
Jack's like really mean, and he's like, you guys, like, your opinion doesn't matter because you're young. And then Ralph's like, maybe we should listen to them.
I mean,
Ralph,
fairly
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I know, he kind of like also kind of acts like they're stupid, but at least he gives them the chance to talk. Both of them are like kind of don't treat them very well, but Jack's like much worse about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jack is trying to establish dominance in the end. I mean, he wants the power for himself.
Established dominance. Also, okay, I wanted to ask, whatever the last day we were in class was, are the choir kids a part of the little ones?
No, there are no choir boy little uns. The little uns are just those little kids. And keep in mind, there are more little uns than there are big uns. They're meant to represent, be symbolic of like the masses, of the have-nots, the people without power, because this whole book is, remember, an allegory, symbolic of something larger. It's going to be more of like a symbolic representation of humanity and civilization in general. So make sure you're paying attention to that, because the little uns represent those people in our society, in our civilization, that don't have any power. Ralph is certainly more accepting and trying to listen to at least the little uns, hear them out, whether or not they take them seriously, but they at least feel like the little uns should have some kind of a voice, or Ralph does. Jack, of course,
Jack's
not
just
at
a
all.
jerk.
Well, yes, Jack is a sadistic monster that we that we are going to see what else he does in this story, but there's definitely a lot going on with him. He is obviously not as tolerant of the little ones. He doesn't think they're important or that they even have position or power at all. And because he thinks of them like that, they don't. So
It's because he can sing a C sharp or whatever he said.
Right, of course, because he's so very talented at singing. How do we know that the society on the island is starting to break down?
The Lillans are like dying. They're like their health is like super bad.
Their health is deteriorating. A lot of them are eating nothing but fruit, which, like I talked about in class, we know, those of you who eat nothing but fruit, that can cause some really bad intestinal issues and stomach
Pancreatic
issues.
cancer, baby.
It's bad. So they're starting to kind of lose their health. Everyone also has their own views on what should be done. Yeah, there's no real consensus on the island. Everyone wants to do their own thing. No one is really agreeing, or when they do agree, they're like, yeah, we should do that. But no one helps. No one is contributing what they agreed that they would contribute to doing on this island. How are all of the boys starting to change? Not just Ralph, but what are some changes that we're seeing in some of these other boys?
I think Jack's kind of like becoming power hungry, which is like in the document, which I'm pretty sure it's document B. I'm not sure about that though. But like it's like power can like do good and bad, obviously. And I think that like Ralph's gonna be more like showing like the good parts of it versus like Jack's gonna be showing like the bad parts and how it can corrupt somebody.
I concur.
Oh, thanks, dude. Thanks for the support.
You're welcome.
In the beginning of chapter 4, I think Jack was like, Ralph was like almost going to give up his position, but then Piggy was like, no, don't, because then Jack will have the power and we don't want that because he's going to use it for bad.
Okay. Yeah, Ralph was starting to think to himself that maybe he didn't want this anymore. This wasn't really what he signed up for. But if Ralph weren't the leader, what would the island be like?
I have another question. If Piggy was the leader, what would the island be like? I feel like
He's,
lot
like,
less people
smart.
would be dead.
I mean,
He's like
but
actually really smart about it. Like
He
he's
is.
he's just like the people don't like him because he's like has asthma and is like
He's a nerd.
Asmar.
ugly.
He doesn't
He's
deserve
so
that.
white.
I feel like if Piggy was a leader, nobody would take him seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like he wouldn't be listened to.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
because like Piggy might be smart, but he doesn't really have any like support from anyone.
Yeah,
He doesn't really have those leadership qualities, I guess.
that's what politics is. It's
Like
who
whenever he's go ahead.
appeals to the most people.
Yeah, in an election, Piggy would hands down be the independent candidate that had no
Like,
chance of
people vote
winning.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's voting for Piggy. He just he's got great ideas. He's logical, and he
He found
represents
He cares
that.
about people. He was going to do the first thing on the
Happening. He found the conch. He deserves it. Just saying. I feel like
Yeah,
really
he's also empathetic. So, but again, he doesn't have the it factor that Ralph seemed to have. Where in
because Ralph has blonde hair.
No, it's not
Wow.
because of that. They said
No.
in the text that it was because there was some unspeakable quality that Ralph had. That was him holding the conch, which is that symbol of order, of civilization, and of leadership. So we see that in Ralph, and he does seem to be following through as much as he can, but the boys have devolved and he can't really control them, and they're now becoming victims of fear, and fear can make us do some really crazy things. So then we get into chapter 6, Beast from Air. Why is it called that? Why is this chapter called Beast from Air?
Because they're going on the hunt for the beast, aka Beelzebub. I don't know how to say the name.
Beelzebub.
And
Mostly because he fell from
Or just
the
say the
sky.
devil.
That
yeah,
makes
the
sense.
parachute guy fell from the sky, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't
And
it
he's kind of
legit just
symbolic of
saying
the
a
beast,
beast
I
from
guess.
the air? Like he falls down from the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a direct parallel to the
Yeah.
last chapter, which
Yeah.
was Beast from Water.
Facts.
Beast from Water. Where
Beast
they
from
thought-
water, beast
they-
from air,
they-
beast from fire, beast from earth.
All right,
Wasn't
hold
the
on.
beast from water talking about the sharks? No.
They were
Probably.
talking about how there's a possibility that the animal's coming up from the ocean. So they were like,
Right.
where does the beast live?
But
The
this is
squid can definitely walk on land.
Guy.
So I mean, we don't actually see a beast from water, but they're like, the ocean is so big, and that's what makes it so scary, is that like the unknown. And we haven't discovered everything in the ocean that lives there yet. So possible beast coming from the water.
I still think it would be
It could
really
also be like the ocean itself is the beast. In a way.
Scary.
Ooh.
I mean, that
That's
works.
like
I-
smart.
Definitely have a fear of the ocean. That's a fact. So I think there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of scariness, but the one beast from air is a dead soldier with a parachute that the twins think is some scary beast that's like chasing after them. But of course, that corpse isn't gonna kill them. It's literally just floating there in the trees. And the way that it's described, where it like the head is like moving, it's like rising and lowering and rising and lowering. It's because the parachute is being caught in the wind. And so it's like the head is going like this. It's like almost like bowing, which makes it even more scary and horrifying. So
I'm coming to kill you.
It's just a dead body. I mean,
it's just a dead body. We know
Just
that.
a dead body. That's
But
not
they are
terrifying
kids.
at all.
That's the dramatic irony of it, is we know that it's nothing to be afraid of, but that it is really scary in the minds of children, for sure.
Scary for everybody. Imagine just seeing like a head just like coming down. That's
No, I'd be pretty scared of that.
So
I want to go
Disease.
home, please.
it happens.
one thing I wanted to ask too, we need to talk about Simon. Why does Simon doubt the existence of the beast?
Maybe because he
Because
wants to
he's
be
pure,
sane.
and he's the only like actually nice and sane one.
Yeah.
He's the
I think
only
he's kind of the
sane one.
voice of reason.
Wait, does Piggy believe in the beast? I don't remember.
Piggy's
He
like
does
a
not
good
believe in the beast.
possibility. He's like, I mean, like if it's backed up by science, everyone's like,
Yeah.
Piggy's the logical one, but like he thinks that if there's logic behind it, then there could be a beast.
I mean, there
Yeah.
could be.
He thinks it's a possibility, whereas Simon is like, I think the beast is us. I
Yeah.
think,
and like
what if
The
we're
beast
the
is
beast?
them. The beast is always humans. I've
We
been
are
watching
Not to
too
be
many
deep or
nature
anything.
that's
documentaries.
deep.
we are the beast, and Simon is that voice of reason. He sees things in a different way, and he is very insightful, very wise. That really kind of brings us to start seeing him act as this Christ figure, where
May I
he's
May I please also say something? I just realized Simon is a biblical name.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Isn't he like one of the? I feel like he was one of the martyrs of Christ.
You mean one of the apostles, one of the disciples?
Well, yeah, but I feel like he was martyred.
Well, most
Or
of
I'm
them were.
thinking of
Most of the disciples were martyred.
no, not one of the disciples, but he had other followers. You know.
Yeah,
and, like,
of course.
yeah.
So there
I feel
there
like-
are a bunch of different Simons in the Bible. It's unclear which one is like the illusion, but I mean, Simon is the representative of Christ figure. He will sacrifice something. So, and that being said, for both chapters 5 and 6, you need to analyze for us a little bit about both chapters, a key character that moves the plot along or seems to be symbolic of something, a symbol, a biblical allusion, and personal reaction, like what is your response to the text and how are you responding to it?
And we're
Okay.
doing that on Flipgrid. Right?
Yes, yes, that will be on Flipgrid. And again, if you would rather do a chapter 5 Flipgrid and a chapter 6 Flipgrid video, like 2 separate videos, that's fine.
Oh, by the way, Miss Nieves,
Hmm.
so I like turned mine in already, and I forgot to do the symbol one of my original videos. So please like check the replies and like watch the
That's
second video because
That's fine.
I forgot to do it in the first one.
No worries. Don't worry, I can check that. I can check up on that. Okay. Yes, the key character can be the same for both chapters. The symbol can be the same. Everything can be the same for both chapters if you want to, or you can do 2 separate. It's up to you.
And
All
can
right.
we have the quotes, like in sticky notes?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
okay. I already
Yes.
filmed mine, and then I'm so mad because the audio didn't work, and so now I have to go back and film it again.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, you can definitely on sticky notes on the Flipgrid type up your quotes if you want quotes on there as well. Excuse me. Okay, open up Google Classroom.
How do I escape? There we go.
Can press the escape button.
That would seem logical.
All right, so in Google Classroom, there is a resource called Grammar Commonly Confused Words. I'm going to screen share that with you right now.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like this. Okay, so as you can see, here's a list of words on the left of a bunch of different words that I see a lot messed up in spelling or in usage in your writing, like accept versus accept, or affect versus effect, among, between, amount, number. All of these are things, words and spellings that I see all the time as errors in your writing. And so the goal here is to hone in on a few words that you know you misuse. Like if you know that you really don't know the difference between who apostrophe S and whose, WHOSE, you should practice by writing these. In the Google form survey today, I have like a bunch of questions where there are sentences with fill in the blank with the correct spelling of the word. So I want you to review over these before you take that Google form survey so that you know what you need to be figuring out in terms of these different words. Like for example, fewer or less. If you go to like the grocery store and you want to get into the like 10 items or blank aisle, like you only have like 8 items, which word do you use? 10 items or
Less.
Fewer.
It's fewer.
Oh, oops.
It's fewer because less is about bulk quantities, like things that you can't count,
Oh.
whereas fewer are about items you can count. So if I can count the number of cups of sugar in a recipe, then I will say I use fewer cups of sugar than normal. But if I just say just sugar, I would say I use less sugar than normal in this recipe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to go through this. I say choose 5 words and then like write them out correctly using 5 of those
Indeed.
words you want to practice before you start on the Google form.
Do we need to submit those 5-word sentences?
You
thing?
do not. No.
Okay.
You do not. All right. The other thing we need to talk about is the synthesis essay. Whoa.
What was that?
Whoa.
Ew.
Possession.
That.
That's what Beelzebub sounds like, I bet.
Oh my God, the beast.
It's the beast.
It's the beast. It's the older.
Oh my goodness.
No, you
Wait, but
fools.
actually,
The
what was
beast
that?
is us.
Anyways, the synthesis essay. I don't know what happened, but we're going to talk about the synthesis essay. Yes, it's still happening. We're doing it. We're doing it. Just work with me on this. Right now, you should have a thesis statement. Everyone should have a working thesis statement at this point. You should have a thesis statement that says, you know, people do bad things because.
Stop
The
it.
bees.
It's gross. I don't like it.
Is this a sign that we should
Yeah,
do this
Sophia, get out of our
essay?
call. This is for Alpharetta students only.
Okay.
What if we are the beast?
We are
A
the
clear
beast.
sign we shouldn't do the synthesis essay.
All right, so
The beast doesn't want to do it.
listen up, because this is important. So I want everyone to mute themselves on this so you can hear me. Okay. You today on the Google form survey, you're going to submit to me your working thesis statement. Okay. The other thing you're going to do is I want you to look at the sources, and I want you to take a look and figure out which sources support your thesis statement. I want you to grab 2 to 3 quotes from those sources. So you need 2 or 3 different sources, 2 to 3 different quotes that support your thesis statement. Yes? Okay. You're also going to tell me in the Google form what sources you're using and what pieces of evidence you plan to use. Okay. I'm going to right now screen share with you. I'm going to type up an outline of the synthesis essay so that you know what the format expectation is. And then in Google Classroom, you're going to pull up, there are 2 examples of synthesis essays that you can read through and take a look at like what the expectations are for a synthesis essay. So do the quotes for the thing today include quotes from the book? No, just the sources. Okay, you're just looking for 2 to 3 from the sources for now. Okay, so I'm gonna screen share with you guys. And I'm gonna just kind of type up my little outline for you. So if you want to follow along with it, you can. All right, so the first thing you're going to have is, is your introduction paragraph. Okay, you're going to have 3 to 5 sentences of context for the argument. Okay, so this might be like just some fluff of like, you know, good people do bad things every day. And, you know, there are many reasons why people do bad things. Some think it's for fear, some think it's for blah, 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 all that. Okay. Yes, we will see my dog. My cat is dead, but yes, we'll see my dog today. She's laying over there. Let me go through the structure.
I'm sorry, it's sad. I
Thank
saw your
you.
Instagram post and I cried.
I know, it's a sad day. Yeah, she's been gone a week now. Anyways, okay, we'll see puppy later. So then after the 3 to 5 sentences of context for the argument, you'll have your thesis statement. Okay, so this is where you have your arguable statement about why people do bad things. In your thesis, do not mention the sources. Do not say according to sources B, F, and the Lord of the Flies, people do bad things because no. You just need to have an arguable statement of like what your position is. Okay, and you can have this could have 2, maybe even 3 prongs. So if you think that people do bad things for a couple of different reasons, those can be your prongs. That's fine. Okay. Then you're going to have body paragraph 1. Claim. Again, same deal as the thesis. Arguable statement about why people do bad things. Again, do not mention the sources. Okay. trying to see what happened here. All right. Then you're going to have, and I want this first body paragraph to be double chunked. So it's going to be evidence number 1. Okay. This is where you're going to have your quote with a parenthetical. Okay. You'll lead into it, maybe even embed it. And then you're going to, you can either do it this way. You can either do analysis here and then do evidence number 2 here, quote, parenthetical, period, and another piece of analysis here, or you will do claim evidence number 1, evidence number 2, and then analysis of both of those pieces of evidence and how they support your argument. Okay. Doesn't matter how you do it. Either way is fine. Just make sure that the first body paragraph is double chunked.
When is this due?
I'm still kind of working on the calendar stuff for it, but it will be due on a Monday.
Okay,
Like-
so like for homework, are we doing like the intro or?
So for now, I'm just showing you the outline. You don't have to work on, you don't have to do the essay at all for homework. Like next week, I'll probably work into our lesson for next week. Like, okay, write body paragraph 1. So for today, you just need to tell me what your thesis statement is and tell me what 2 to 3 pieces of your evidence will be.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So then body paragraph number 2. I'm going to go over counter argument and rebuttal with you. However, you do not have to do a counter argument or rebuttal in your synthesis essay. But you will do another claim. You will do another piece of evidence, and you will do analysis. This second body paragraph can be single or double chunked. Okay.
I have a question for the claim for body paragraph number 2. Can we use the same claim or should we like reword it?
Reword it, and chances are that you have a couple of different reasons for why people do bad things, in which case this would be your second reason.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you are doing like 3 different reasons why people do bad things, again, same thing for your third body paragraph. Claim evidence analysis. You can double or single chunk this. Doesn't
Wait,
matter to
so
me.
is body paragraph 3 optional if we don't have 3 reasons?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
okay.
have- yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. You have to have 2 body paragraphs. And you need to make sure that you're using 3 sources. So in your first body paragraph, you're using 2 different sources. Oh, Ellie wants to say hi.
That dog is the most beautiful thing I've seen.
I know. Yeah, she's very precious. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Okay.
Hi, doggy.
She's coming up.
If you
Okay.
have
Come on.
like more than 3 pieces of evidence, can we just not put those on the Google Docs and then just have them in our essay or the Google Forms?
Yes. I just want to make sure that we're coming along with the evidence and whatnot. Oh my gosh,
Okay.
this dog.
Samus, what would be the benefit of a third body paragraph?
If you have 3 reasons for why people do bad things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it help with your grade?
No, I mean, either way, it's whatever is rhetorically appropriate. So whatever best supports your argument, it doesn't really matter. But you
We'll
do have
convince
to
her
have,
more.
yeah, as long as you're being convincing and persuasive, it doesn't really matter how many you have. As long as you're making a good argument.
Does it matter how you distribute the evidence? Like, could the first paragraph be all Lord of the Flies?
At least one of the body paragraphs has to have 2 different sources.
Okay.
Okay. So I would recommend body paragraph 1 evidence from 2 different sources. Sorry, Ellie.
So what if our our like reason is really broad and our next paragraph is just like, can we be like, or can our next paragraph just be honing in on a reason that stems from our main reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. Okay, so then finally you'll have a conclusion paragraph. And your conclusion paragraph, you're going to rephrase your thesis. That's the first sentence. And then you're going to have like 3 to 5 sentences after that that will go into a couple of different things. You can either talk about the implications of the argument. So what does this mean for the world? The significance. La, 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 la. So why should the world care? Or a call to action. What should the world do now? Okay. So I will put this outline on Google Classroom for us, just so that we all know kind of what the format of the essay will be. I'm gonna stop my sharing now for that. But are there any, let me see if there's anything I need. Yes, I'm posting this on Google Classroom. Let's see. Anything else that I missed? Oh, my parents are home. That's really fun. So you're gonna hear the dogs go crazy for a minute.
He's teaching. The dog's teaching too.
I feel so much knowledge from that dog. Just swooping through my brain.
Yeah, she's really good at teaching. This isn't that different from the previous. It's not that different in terms of formatting. It's just different in the like style of writing to me. Oh my god, dogs! Look up at your eye.
He squished his face against the blinds by accident.
Are we trying to set alternative?
All right.
Sweetie.
So there are examples of the essay, 2 examples of the essay on Google Classroom. Let's see, now to keep up with the updated reading schedule that's in Google Classroom, I recommend reading Lord of the Flies 20 minutes a day. And if you have extra, yes, POCs have been canceled.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Hold up.
POCs have yes. The email came
AP
from
exams.
well, not AP exams. No, we haven't heard anything very much about AP exams, but apparently state accountability testing is canceled according to Dr. Looney. Wait, that's a
Wow.
Amen.
Wait, all EOCs? Just all of them?
That's, I believe that's what Dr. Looney basically said in his email this morning. So, anyways, so everything should be good to go. If you have questions, if you want a writing conference or extra help with anything, just let me know. Send me an email and we'll set something up. Any questions right now about anything?
Yeah, so like on the Google, I don't really know what it's called, but it was like a little quiz thing.
Yes.
There was like some question like, what is the most important thing to Miss Nieves?
Oh,
What should we put for that?
I forgot. Yes. Why is today important for me? This is to check to make sure that you were actually in the discussion. Are you ready? Are you ready? You might want to write this down. You might want to write this down. Why is today important to me? There are 2 reasons. One, it's okay.
Hey, stop trying to steal my cookies. Sorry, my cat's trying to steal my cookies.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Your birthday?
Today is important to me. 1, because it's my sister's birthday. She just turned 26. She's a kindergarten teacher in North Carolina, and it has to learn today how to digitally teach like this to kindergartners.
Oh, that's adorable.
Is it adorable? And
Oh,
then
good
today
for
is also important to me because today it has been 1 week since I said goodbye to my cat. I know. So that's why today's important to me. That's the last question on the Google Form survey, just to make sure that you were here, you're paying attention, we're all good to go. I hope that this went well and that you guys were good with this. It was good to see some of your faces and to hear from you guys. I miss you already. I'm sure you miss me very much.
He misses you too.
I know that the CD, I don't know if you don't know many biblical allusions, a good place other than the Bible to find them, I would just Google biblical allusions, and a lot of different stories will pop up. The quiz is in Google Classroom, like it's attendance for the day. And then other than that, I think that will be it. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And I will keep you posted on next week. And I look forward to seeing y'all virtually. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Get to work.
Okay, have fun.
Have
Bye.
fun.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Alright.
See you guys next week.
See you
All
next
the
week.
animals that appeared, thank you.
Wait, what's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's math.
No.
Oh God.
Ew, I don't want to do math.
Don't worry, Sachin. You don't have to worry about AP World until Friday.
Wait, Miss Nia,
Really?
what do we do if our
Nothing I wanna
teachers
do.
haven't told us how we're supposed to get in contact with them for their lesson?
Email.
Oh.
Hey, Miss Davis, well, what's
They
the
should be getting in contact with you soon.
I don't
Try
think Miss
checking the
Jolly
phone
knows
book.
how to use this anyway, so we won't have to be worrying about AP World.
I still don't.
I mean, how's
Yes,
math
Nicole.
gonna
Davis,
work
what's the
online?
schedule? Like,
So Monday is English, Tuesday math, Wednesday electives.
It's on my
and-
Snapchat if anyone wants it.
And that includes foreign language.
okay,
Thursday science, Friday social studies.
okay.
Ain't
Wait, so
nobody
we're gonna
taking a
have
snap.
4 hours on Wednesday since we have 2 electives?
Yes.
I'm gonna have 6 hours. Oh boy.
Boo. Like,
Three
Godspeed, my
electives.
friends.
And 2 hours of culinary. I can't wait. That actually sounds fun.
okay, peace out.
Bye, guys. You all have a
Farewell,
great
goodbye,
day.
Goodbye.
Tell your sister happy birthday from us.
Happy
Bye, y'all.
Peace
Happy
out.
Monday.
Bye, Lucy.
Happy Monday.
See ya.
I'll let this one